We're coming to you from the University of Kent Grimond building, where the university's first interfaith discussion is taking place. There are speakers from 5 major world religions. The talks aim to bring together members of religious societies as well as those who are not affiliated with any religion. There are representatives from Christian Union, Sikh, Islamic, Jewish and Buddhist societies. What question do you find that you get asked the most at these talks?
I suppose why I chose Buddhism, why I practice Buddhism rather than anything else. And do you want to know my answer?
Yeah.
I chose Buddhism because it made sense, it was practical, and it meant that I knew what to do when I got up in the morning, because I do my morning practice, start the day, lift my spirits, go out and be in the world.
I think people often most want to know about why we believe what we do, because it seems to a lot of people that anyone with an education couldn't possibly believe in God or really take Christianity seriously. And so they're often asking, why do we believe it? What are the reasons for faith? And I'm very happy to be able to answer that question when people ask it. It's less so initially about the content of the Christian message. That comes a bit later on. But often it's why do we believe it? How could someone in the 21st century believe those things about God and spirituality?
A lot of people don't know much about Sikhi, so it's the 5th largest religion in the world, but we find out there's not much information out there. So what we've done to rectify that is we have an organization called Everything's 13 Bases of Sikhi. It's a YouTube channel set up to spread the correct information about Sikhi and our philosophies, the deeper meanings behind some of the prayers. And another thing is we've got something called the Sikh Press Association, which is set up to liaise between the media and Sikhs themselves. So we're telling our story our own way. One thing that we're finding is people think, especially in the Western world, you see a turban in your beard, you think possibly Muslim, or actually what they think is terrorist. Because what's happened is these people that are committing these terrorist atrocities, they sometimes most times are shown to have a turban and a beard, but the average Muslim won't have a turban and a beard. That's a householder. But almost all Sikhs will have a turban and a beard. So one thing that we want to say is don't hurt the nice Muslims. Islamophobia, leave the nice Muslims alone. If these terrorists are committing these atrocities, go after them. And number 2, we're not Muslims, we are Sikh. We want to we are productive members of society. We're here to protect and serve. We give away free food. We're always there for society. We're giving to charity. And we want to get to know people. So we actually want to engage with them and have that conversation and see, how similar we really are.
I don't think that there's a specific thing that people actually want to know the most about Judaism. I suppose sometimes, some of the most elementary questions come about, what food you eat or what you do on a certain holiday or what this word in Yiddish means or something like that. But, I think that tonight's conversations have been very, very profound, and I look forward to the questions and seeing what people actually want to know. People who are coming out to an event like this are people who are obviously very interested in a dialogue and who have been thinking about these issues a lot, and so I'm looking forward to seeing those questions in particular.
And what message do you most try and communicate in your talks?
I think what we want people to most know about is the real message of Christianity as against the sort of what we would call churchianity of culture. That real Christianity is about finding forgiveness, being reconciled to God and discovering your purpose in life. It's actually an incredibly positive message, whereas often the way it's depicted is sort of gloomy churches with miserable people who really are having a terrible time and have to endure that terrible time in order to get to heaven. But that's not the message Jesus brought, and that's not what real Christianity is about.
Well, really, I want to make the message very clear that Islam is a religion that you practice it yourself. We cannot compromise with our Islam, and we are able to tolerate other people's beliefs, religions. So Islam does teach that you need to peacefully coexist with all people. That is the main message I would like to, especially here in the UK. Given that whatever we are reading in the papers, what's coming maybe in the headlines in the Sun newspaper, the people are being brainwashed. So the message we want to convey is don't take Islam by what you read in the papers and what you get from the media. Take Islam by meeting the Muslim and by having a dialogue, having communication, visiting the mosques and speak to the imams. I think that is the message we're trying to convey.
There's an importance that we need to come together tonight and to learn from one another. And there's so much that I've learned tonight and that we can all learn just from talking about one another's customs. We all have similar ways of looking at the world, but we all have very different ways of looking at the world. And that's one of the really important things that I think we need to remember, is to come together, to remember to do good, and to remember that we need to bring God back into society. And that was a theme that you saw communicated by a lot of the people tonight, all of the different speakers, this idea that we're living in an age today in which God is to a certain degree, and the absence, the values that he represents are very much absent from society in so many ways. And we have a responsibility to bring that back, to be a charitable society, to be a kind society, and to do good.
We want to communicate that as Buddhists we genuinely believe that all human beings have the potential within them to reveal complete and limitless courage, compassion and wisdom. And that if we respect that in ourselves, we can respect it in others, and eventually we can create a peaceful world.
For anyone who wants to get involved with religion on campus, there are plenty of religious societies and opportunities to join. I'm Will Davies with KTV News.